about is how I almost died. And how it was just like Shrek.
Oh no.
Can you insert a clip?
No, that would be really good. Oh no.
No, please do it. So people can know what happened. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so almost had to give Mia the Heimlich before we started. Choking a little bit on the food on her way here. But she's all...
McNuggets.
On the McNuggets. She's all good now. Oh my God. Yeah, that was pretty scary. But
Yeah.
glad you're okay.
Yes.
So what has been going on?
Are we live?
Yes.
Oh, lit. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Hey. So you just had a show at CT.
Yes. I sold out.
That's awesome.
By like 2 people.
Nice.
So it seated 100 and then 2 people sat on the floor. So that was really nice. Just because, it's like when you're an independent artist, like setting these things up and like booking them, sometimes it's like, are people going to come?
Yeah.
But it was really rewarding and it was so fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then I went skiing a couple days later.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was really cool.
Nice. Yeah, I thought that was a really interesting venue. It's super intimate.
Yeah.
It doesn't really. I don't really see too many bands there, but
yeah.
it's really cool
like
when I do.
I was kind of one of the first. They don't do it too often, so I'm one of the first like actual like bands to kind of, host a show there, like album release show. So that was really cool to do it there. So I'm looking at other places to maybe start doing more shows, but it's a lot of work. I mean, putting things together, and I'm not like a logistical event planner type person, so having to teach myself that and make sure everything's lined up the way like I want it has been very interesting, but it's worked out so far. So
that's good. And it's awesome. And the show had Elise Young on it. And
yes. She did amazing, and everyone loved her, and it was just amazing. I got so many compliments like from her. Well, people about her, and so it was just awesome.
Yeah, it's a really cool duo. It's a good ticket. That's a good ticket.
We went to middle school and high school together, so
very
I've
cool.
always known her, and she was so inspiring and so cool, and I just had to have her.
Very cool. Do you have any like pre-show rituals?
Not really. I mean, I try to put myself in a really good mood, which I usually am, like excited and, but just being around people who make me laugh, which, is usually everyone. Yeah, just hanging out with the people I love and, cutting up.
Very good.
It's usually kind of what I like to do.
That's cool. So yeah, like what is kind of your, whenever I have a show, I definitely wake up in a different kind of mood. Like,
yeah,
this is go time, or this is Super Bowl day.
Yeah, like a wedding day almost.
What's your day look like?
I mainly just sing. So if I need to bring anything, which is usually very little because, I just sing. I like to load it up in my car the night before, make sure everything's ready to go so I can just walk on out and make sure my car's locked so no one breaks in and steals anything. But just kind of, definitely coffee, getting a nice meal, making sure everyone's ready to go and lined up, setting up, the stage how I want it and my merch table. And that's all me, which, sometimes it's a little like, I'm so tired, but it's rewarding in the end because, you did all that work and it pays off. So,
yeah. So what is like Lafayette's Christian scene look like? So you're playing this show at Cité des Arts, it's Lafayette, it's downtown, right off of Jefferson Street. And if you're coming into the area, I don't know too much of what that scene looks like in the area. Like what is the live venue version of Christian music in our area look like?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen like anything like it. I mean, like when I was in Nashville, I mean, there were these events that were titled like Christian Music in a Bar, which I had a few friends who played at them, which I think is so cool because, you know, it doesn't really matter where you sing what you love. So it's really cool that these venues like allow stuff like that because, you know, some people might be a little hesitant, like, oh, we don't want to listen to that. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's just, you know, how your music is, because it's just words, you know, that are meaningful. But at the end of the day, it's really just the music side. So that's when I, you know, was creating my music. I really love the Fleetwood Mac and Casey Musgrave. So I was like, that's the sound I want. But these lyrics that are the truth to me, like that's what I want to match the two together. And I just don't really worry about like if I'm going to sell out or if I'm going to market well, like as a Christian artist, because, you know, I'm doing what I love and I'm doing it for, you know, Christ. And I just think in the end, it's all going to work out and be great if you're happy and you feel you're doing the right thing. So, and I know Elise Young, she doesn't do Christian music. She just does like indie pop and pop folk.
Definitely.
But I just think like, you know, if you do what you love and, you know, it's just meaningful to you, it's like, why not put her on the bill? You know, it's like, we don't have to have the same genre.
Definitely.
So stuff like that.
That's a good thought. And honestly, it brings up a good point too of like, these are the words that you're singing, and it really doesn't matter where. If you are authentic and you really believe in what you're saying, then it shouldn't matter where you say it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so that's really awesome.
Yeah. And my friend suggested Site because I was thinking about a show. I was like, well, do I do it at a church? And he was like, well, just do it at Site. And I was like, oh, that is really cool. So I'm looking at the Feed and Seed and just also kind of like figuring out like, do I have alcohol like sold? Because, you know, some people might be a little weirded out by that. So I'm still like learning like what I should do or what, you know, I shouldn't do, but I mean, we're in Louisiana, so.
Yeah. I think you can let people like choose how to have a good time.
Yeah.
And so long as they're continuing to be safe in a space.
Yeah,
and like,
exactly.
You know,
and I do want
space.
like places where I can have children come. So just learning all this, is cool.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at these shows, your repertoire, it's, you know, what percentage of originals to covers are you doing?
So at the show we did 11 songs. Our 11th was the encore. So 7 were originals and then 4 were covers. And then those 4 were just songs that have inspired me musically, lyrically, creatively. So I just kind of had a wide range. I had some new songs, some oldies, but yeah, I did everything from Sweeter Than Honey. And then in September, I'm hoping to have another show and sing some more newer originals. So it's a lot of prepping, but it's fun. The journey's fun.
So with these originals, tell me about this album that you just did, Sweeter Than Honey, and writing this album. What was, whenever you're writing in your genre, do you feel your genre influencing your songwriting at all, or like, you know, ultimately your faith? What is that like with having a relationship with your genre and your songwriting?
Some songs are different than others. Some are, you know, a few songs that I've written have just been like struggling with faith and trusting, and just kind of like having that conversation with God that I've had. And then other songs, you know, just pulling from scripture, and just writing based off of that. So my album's pretty much a mix of that. And, you know, I love the quirkiness vibe of things, anything, whether it's like fashion, music, houses, you know, that's my style. So just kind of like adding that into, you know, the lyrics, if it is pulled from the Bible, like kind of putting a twist on it. For, you know, for one of them, it's called Banana Bread and Grape Juice. And I kind of wrote it in the way of like, you know, God talking to a little girl, his little daughter, in the way and like why we take communion and why we do that, and what that means, you know, to us, to me. And I just thought Banana Bread and Grape Juice was a quirky name. So things like that, I kind of just put a little twist on it and make it my own. So
Okay. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So what was it like going into recording this album?
Yeah, so we did it December of 21, like 2 weeks before I was moving to Nashville. And I was so stressed already because, we've planned so much. Now we're finally here. But also it's like, I'm moving to Nashville in 2 weeks. I don't have a house. Like, I don't have a job. Like, so all of that was in my mind while we were doing this. So when I tried to remember, like, not to worry about that when things were going on and, like, just to enjoy the moment and just enjoy it with the musicians. And, but yeah, it was a little stressful. Just everything, because I had planned so long for all of that, to happen. And it's, like, finally here. And it's just like, okay, don't mess up. But no, it was great. We did it in a week. And, yeah, it was really fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you're saying you kind of have a couple of new songs that are coming out after this album, but how do you know what is the process for making the next album? What is it like your process of you're getting inspiration for a song and then choosing, these are all maybe going to be a part of a work? Like, are these songs a part of this work?
Yeah.
Do you have to consider that with every song, or do you just kind of automatically assort them as kind of chapters in your life?
Kind of chapters in a way. Like, there were 2 songs that were supposed to be on the album, but I felt it wasn't really meant for it. So those are going to be the next songs that I do release. And I think, I wrote them in a time where, like, it really meant something to me and I needed that, but not for that season, but for a later season, if that makes any sense. And I just think, God works in weird ways. And I thought about just chucking the songs, like, I don't need those, could just be like a little draft or something. But lately I've been like, man, I really, didn't need that song then, but I need it now. And, my walk with the Lord and just trusting. And so, yeah, that'll be the next chapter that I release.
What was the Nashville chapter like? Did that affect your songwriting at all? Did it affect the way you thought about business at all?
Yeah. I knew it was going to be hard, and that's not the reason why I came back. And I knew coming back, like, I was going to have to answer those questions, which, the pride in me was just like, I don't want to answer these questions. And, I've had people, and I know they don't mean anything by it, but just like, oh, Nashville was hard. Oh, you're back already. Like, I know I can't let that affect me because I know they don't mean it that way. And I have to give them grace for that. But, so I'm just like, oh. No, the Lord brought me back, and it was weird because I had so many green lights leading up to moving to Nashville. Everything was falling into place, and I prayed for it for years, and I was just like, God's bringing me there, and I knew He did for a reason, and I knew He was at the time, but it's funny how He works sometimes. It's like He just brought me back to be a worship leader at the church that I grew up in. And, I haven't told many people this, but, when I got offered the job in July, so I was only in Nashville 7 months, I really was going to turn it down. I was like, I'm just starting to like Nashville. Like, everything's starting, like, as in like a couple weeks, starting to look good. I'm making a good Christian friend group, and, I was just finding all these little things that were just making it great. And I got offered the job, and I was like, I just don't think it's right to go back and, the way I thought of it was like, give up. But just, I prayed about it and I thought about it. And the day I was supposed to have a phone call with my boss, Mr. Ed Gore, I was like sitting on my couch waiting for the time to like hit to call him and tell him like I wasn't coming home. And I just felt this like peace of just like, I just felt like, you're going home. So I like totally switched what I was going to tell him. And I said, yep, I'm coming home. And that night I told my roommate, and I was very emotional. Cause it's just like we had connected and, bonded and became friends. And so it was hard to leave, but I knew that God brought me there to become the person I needed to be to do what I'm doing now. So I'm glad to be back, and, I have a much greater appreciation for home and, my family. I'm so glad to be close by family. It just means a lot more to me. And that's the reason why I believe God brought me away to come back, even if it was quicker than I thought it would be. But yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice. It takes sometimes it does take leaving to really appreciate what you gave up. But so tell me about what your new role at this new job is like.
Yeah.
What are you really doing?
Yeah, so I'm the worship leader, and it is kind of like, a day job. It's 9 to 5, and a lot of planning, staff meetings. But on Sunday, I get to sing for 3 services and worship with my friends, and it's really cool because I've always wanted to sing, since I was 5. And I never knew what that looked like. When you say sing, it's like, oh, I'm going to be like Hannah Montana. But it's really cool to see like how God brought me where I needed to be to, do it for him. So yeah, it's really fun. And our team, we're very quirky. So we have a good time all together. We bring out the greatness in each other, which is good for a team because sometimes people don't have that. So yeah, it's awesome.
Do you think your college experience helped you in this job at all? I mean, so let's talk about this because I had to go to my high school. I got the privilege to go to my high school and talk to kids about being a professional musician.
Oh, really? That's in recently you went?
Yeah, right, recently. And,
that's awesome.
And they're talking to me about college, and they're talking to me about what they're about to have to go through.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated 5 years ago in May, and that's like everything I've done from then till now has just been kind of the beginning.
Yeah.
Even though it seems like it's been so much work and it's been so much, it's just now starting.
Yeah.
So do you think the college experience, helped you? What would you say to some kid like that? Honestly, there's so many things I wish I would have said to these kids like that I still didn't. It's just like, I don't know it all.
Yeah.
I also wish I would have said that.
Yeah.
I don't know everything, but from my experience, I had my own relationship with college. So what was your relationship with college, and what would you tell a kid thinking about it?
Oh, a few things. So, I was on the fence of going to college, but my parents were very like, you're going to college. It can be whatever you want. Go. And I was like, okay, music business. And it was, I thought, I learned a lot. I made some connections, and, I was very involved in college. But I kind of did it for the social aspect, not necessarily of learning and growing. I made good grades and I did all that, but I wish I would have paid attention a little more, and went to class a little bit more. And, the music industry is changing every day. It's like, I don't even remember us learning about TikTok. And now that's like the entire music industry. And Mr. Scott, I remember him saying that, like, what you learn now, it may be totally different. And that like hits almost every day because it's like, how do I do this TikTok thing? Like, I feel like a grandma because it's just like, it's not what I learned, like I kind of wish music was the old fashioned way, but I understand why people only release singles now. And, I have seen like, even though I knew what doing an album was going to be like, I just wanted to do it because I felt those songs, worked well together and they all had a meaning together and they were a story. But yeah, you can see when I look on my stats, it goes down from listens, which I knew that was going to happen. But yeah, it's just, it's a weird world, like everything's so fast and everything's so quick. But, and like that, I finished college really quick. I wanted to get out of there. I did it in 3.5 years. I just say slow down, enjoy the time, learn as much as you can, even if it is annoying sometimes. I wish I would have done that, but you can't go back in time. So you can only move forward.
Yeah. I think slowing down is a really good point. It's, to think that everything at 18 years old is kind of crazy. So
yeah,
being able to slow down and really just have a time to learn about who you are, what you are, what real life is.
Yeah.
It takes longer than 18. Some people, not so much, but some people, they got to get thrown into life early. Mm-hmm. But to make a financial decision about what you're going to do at 18, that's pretty pretty odd that it gets pushed on kids so hard. So, but I don't know. I think I definitely value the social aspect.
Yeah.
I definitely met a ton of people that I would never, couldn't live without.
Yeah.
But
I think also it's just like such a time where, I mean, maybe not for everyone, but you just want to fit in. So it's like altering, what you look like or what your music sounds like, or just trying to kind of fit that, that, I don't want to say vibe, but like, like fit in.
Yeah.
That was something, I struggled with. And it's like, I wish I would have just, followed my heart and just done what I wanted to do. But I'm doing it now, so it doesn't really matter. So,
yeah. Well, I remember meeting you in music business classes at UL, and it's like
music merch.
to see like everything we had to kind of do for homework being something that we would use in an application in some actual business that we'd create for ourselves as musicians. Like that made it feel so not like school.
Yeah. It
made it feel way easier because I actually enjoyed it and thought that there was a purpose to these classes, and thought that this is actually applicable in my life after college. So it definitely helped to think about it that way, and trying to learn something that you don't want to learn and trying to cram it in there, and to at that be spending money on it, and to be maybe even taking money out of the bank for something that you're still not 100% sure that you're gonna finish and see all the way through. I mean, that could really mess some people up.
Yeah. So
it's odd, man. It's odd, but like I said, I think I enjoyed it just because it was interesting to us, and it applied to what we had to do, and I did not feel like I was in school at UL for sure.
But I do have to say, because I was thinking about it, that one class we were in together. Do you know what I'm about to say?
No.
The Cajun Zydeco class.
Oh.
So let me just say, there's this class, and I'm not going to name names, but it actually worked out for the best. So it was a very hard class.
Oh my goodness.
So hard.
It was very hard.
And taking the final, I knew I was going to fail, but I was like, take it no matter what. Like, just go with it. Well, this one girl, like mid-exam, raises her hand, and she asked a lot of questions throughout the class. So, it wasn't uncommon for her to do that. So no one really thought anything of it. She was like, is this our final? This reads midterm. And everyone just like looked around, and our teacher just went pale. And this was during COVID, so like everything was basically locked. I don't even know why we were on campus, but no one else was on campus. And he was like, He was like, you could just see the panic, and like all the doors of like the other rooms were locked, so he couldn't like go in and print it. So he just gave us all hundreds.
Yeah.
If we like if we did our best on the back. He was like, you got all A's if you try. I can't even tell you what I wrote.
God.
I know. That was awesome.
Thank God we didn't drop.
I know, because midway I was like, I should just drop.
It was very hard, and honestly, I play Zydeco, and I play the music, and I'm familiar with it, and I still struggled in this class.
It was intense.
It was just very detail specific. A lot of memorization, and for someone who doesn't understand the music at all, it was a very fast-paced class to try and wrap your head around all these concepts of different types of accordions and who's playing very similar sounding music.
Yeah,
but
if you're going to college, don't count on that happening, because that was a rare thing.
Sure, yeah.
That was insane.
But I will say, there's also merit in saying that you should stick through a class, because there was a lot of people who dropped my econ class thinking that they just had no chance because professor said there will be no room for bonus points. Like there's no extra credit coming.
They
so don't
ease up.
Then they ease up because everyone's failing the class. It's like,
yep.
All these people drop, and by the end of it, there was like so many free points, and in extra credit that I was able to still make it up in the end. If you can just power all the way through it, it's usually worth it.
Power through.
Yeah.
That was wild.
Yeah, and college feels so short. It feels so quick, but while you're in it, you think it's forever.
Yeah, it goes by really fast. It went by faster than high school to me. Definitely.
Dang. Yeah, I feel like sometimes I really shouldn't be giving it any advice because really things are just, you can't control everything in life, and everyone's got a different point of view, different draw the cards, but there's some kids that are going to do music as a career kind of regardless of what anyone says. And those are the only people that can really make it in the end. And I heard that quote kind of the other day, and I thought it was a really good one, which was like, if you can imagine yourself doing anything else, you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah,
it's really all I can do.
Yeah.
So,
and especially like at a time now, like where we're at, like everyone's at different parts of life. And it's like, it's hard not to compare like to someone who's, doing something totally different than me. But, I think just like, doing what you love. Cause I have some friends who are very successful and they're in something I could never do, like stuff with math and like computer, like I could never do that. And I'm like, why am I comparing myself to them? Like I would not enjoy my time doing that. So just like be happy where you're at. Cause if you put in the work and you believe in yourself, you're going to go far. And that time looks different for everyone, so.
Yeah. And there is also a benefit of going into something that really, even though the music market seems saturated at times, it's like you don't see everyone really like fully dedicating to this idea, and the people who stick it out will be rewarded because there's less people overall that can that really think that choose that as a profession. So I just have to believe that there is a little reward for taking the risk, and it doesn't kill you really. Yeah.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah.
But like every year, so when I started like playing music live in 2016, I would type up like goals for next year, goals for the year after that. And sometimes when I'm like, oh, I feel stagnant, like I feel like I'm not doing anything and I feel like I'm not growing, it's cool to just look back at those goals and just be like, wow, like not only am I doing that, but I'm doing that times 10. And it's just cool to like see how far you've come with, doing your best and doing what you love. And just remembering like, that girl who I was then, would be so happy to see what I'm doing now. So I try to remember that when I'm like feeling low or like, oh, I'm not doing anything.
Definitely. And it's hard to be slow sometimes. It's hard. It's hard to think slowly. It's hard to
be patient,
exist slowly, and to move through time easily. It seems very urgent. It seems so
everything's such in a rush. It's like I gotta be in a rush too.
Yeah.
But just relax. Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, it's not killing you.
Oh, speaking of that, at my show, the fire alarm went off.
Oh my gosh.
Because, so in the building of Cité, there's those apartments. Apparently someone like caught something on fire in their microwave. But it was like 30 minutes the alarm went off. So everyone was seated. Elise was about to go. It was almost 7. Elise was about to go on. But I was like, let's wait 10 minutes in case, some people come in. Well, in the middle of those 10 minutes is when the fire alarm went off. I was like, oh, thank God. Like she wasn't playing. Well, anyway.
Oh, yeah. Not in the
it was like 30 minutes and the fire department had to come and turn it off. And at first I was so nervous. I was like, everything up, like, me, I was like panicking. I was like, do I need to stop, drop, and roll? Like, what's happening? But, it ended up working out. It's really cool. So my photographer so everyone was lined up outside, and it looks like everyone's lined out outside to see me and like lined up at the door. It's like, that's a cool photo. I can tell the story about that as to why they're there. Not to saying like if on the pictures I could tell the story as to why those people are lined up outside. But yeah, I know. Isn't that so funny? It's such a fib, but it was.
That took me way too long.
I know. I was like, should I explain it? I'm just gonna keep going. But no, it ended up being great. We still ended the night pretty early. I think we finished around like 9:30. Which, like,
hey, good.
I like early shows, man. Like, I like to be in bed. You know, I'm not a midnight show person. But yeah, it was great.
Very nice, very nice. Do you think you're gonna try and play around town or like outside of town? Think you're gonna travel at all?
I want to, but you know, my band, they all have day jobs, and you know, one of them's my boss, Mr. Ed. He plays the keys for me. So just like lining something up. That's why like I'm doing like big gaps in between shows. So my next show's in September. Yeah. I just like don't want to get burnt out doing it. 'Cause you know, I did the whole acoustic set 3 hours, like twice a week. And I think that's when I really started falling out of love with music, is just 'cause like, you know, playing to very few people and, you know, just being background noise and, you know, having people shout, can you sing this song? And me not knowing the song because sometimes I feel like I live under a rock because it's like every time I'm like, I haven't heard of that. It's true. Excuse me, I just burped. Because it's from when I almost died earlier. You have to insert the Shrek clip.
Oh my goodness. She asked for it, ladies and gentlemen.
It was exactly what happened. Anyway. But yeah, I just don't want to get too burnt out on it. So just taking my time and working on new music. Yeah.
So what is your work life balance? You know, what is your, I love that you want to, you know, cherish this relationship between you and music, and like your relationship with music means something to you. So what does your work life balance look like?
It's funny you say this because I was recently talking with my friends about how, you know, since I was 16, working 3 jobs, just trying to, you know, pay for music stuff and get everything going. And, you know, it's a business, so you've got to spend money to make money. So just for a long time, just doing that and became a routine. And now it's just like, I have this one job and, you know, I do things on the side here and then, like my shows or my hats. And, but it's like, wow, I'm very chill. And it's like, it finally feels like I can enjoy the present, you know, and just enjoy my time with family and, fall in love with music more and more each day. And for the right reasons. Now, for the longest time, I sang for me, and now I'm singing for Christ, which, just is exactly what, you know, I need. And, it's been, you know, I'm trying not to like, do I need to like be working way more? Like, 'cause I'm so used to that feeling. And I think God's just, you know, blessed me with just this time to enjoy just doing this and enjoy just doing it for him and enjoy being with family and friends. And, yeah, just being in the moment. And I know that sounds so live in the moment, but for the longest time, it's just like always thinking ahead and never just like the now. And I'm thankful that lately I've been able to just sit and relax and just be still. And yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Tell me a little bit about this, the hat business.
Yeah. So I didn't make this one. My friend Valeria in LA made it. I've been making little friends like with hat people. It's cool. But I used to work for the guy downtown, Colby, and this was right before I moved to Nashville. Fell in love with it. And, you know, when I kind of like the new dream was like, yeah, be a singer in Nashville, but also like open a hat store, like be a hacker. And I started learning and reading and practicing and investing in tools, and came back to Lafayette to visit, and he trained me and continued making hats for me and started making hats for friends. And then I moved back, and now I'm just like, you know, for my free time and making them for myself. And if someone like messages me, hey, make me I make it for them. And, you know, if I ever do open a hat store, it'll probably be in another state. I don't see myself owning a hat store here. So right now I'm just doing music and kind of doing it for fun as a hobby. And if someone wants one, yeah, I'll make a hat. But it's nice to just, you know, go home and be a little crafty.
Yeah.
So
It's a very you idea. I like it.
Yeah, I know. So whenever I tell people, you know, like, oh, what do you like to do? I'm like, well, I like to make hats. They're always like, huh? I'm like, let me just show you. But yeah, that's something I've been doing.
Yeah, and I mean that in the best way, because it's such a good idea to make a business around something that is authentically you. And I've seen you, you know, enjoy fashion in that way for the whole time that we've been at UL. And then for you to start doing the business, I thought that was a really good idea for sure. And, you know, it might be small now, but that's a good idea that could last you forever.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Yeah.
So how many hats have you made?
I've made probably about 12 for clients, and then myself about 5.
Wow.
I only have so much wall space. Like, you come to my apartment, there's hats everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
It's a little, I don't want to say embarrassing, but it's just like, it's more than you think there would be. So, but it's cool to just like throw one on, especially if you have a bad hair day. But it's so when I drive, I have to like lower the seat and like lean it back, adjust my steering wheel. It's a whole little process, but it's fun to wear one, especially when it looks like you.
What was Nashville? What was Nashville fashion like?
Hats, boots, mainly bachelorettes. That's all. That's all you saw. I read something, and it was like an article, so who knows how true it is. But like more like houses or Airbnbs than actual like houses that people live in. I'm like, oh, that's insane. Yeah. So I know the housing market's insane over there. Like, yeah, I would not want to be. I mean, like everyone has roommates. Like people who are in their mid-30s who pretty successful music lived with roommates, even if they were married. And it's like, that's a little interesting. Like, but that's that's what you do there.
Wow.
It's like, I don't know if I'd want that. Wow. But yeah, I live alone now, which is nice. I do get a little lonely, but I like my space.
Very good.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, I only spent a little bit of time in Nashville, and definitely a lot of bachelorettes. Yeah, that's about right. But I imagine you could definitely make a pretty penny selling hats in Nashville.
Yeah. there wasn't as many hat stores as I thought there would be. But there was a few that were really cool. And there are others that are just like, you know, your touristy hat stop that have like cheap hats that you can make right then and there, which are cool. But like, you know, I like the hats that like, you know, are a part of someone and that tell a story and will last you a lifetime. So there were only a handful of stores like that. I unfortunately didn't buy any because they're expensive. But heck, I'm making my own, so.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. And you know, UL did a pretty good job teaching us the importance of you know, diversifying your assets and thinking of your business in more creative ways. I mean, to really say that, you know, music's for free now, you have to really monetize in different ways and figure out what kind of service you're providing people. What are you really giving? You know, what's your product? What's your product that you're actually going to sell? Because the music is not selling the same way anymore. Yeah. So it's
so crazy to me because it's like, you know, I'm not going to go buy a song, but at the same time, it's like an artist isn't going to just give away their painting. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's so weird. I don't know. Yeah. Like I get it as a consumer and as an artist, but like, you know. Yeah. But that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, it's just it's where we are now. And,
yep.
You know, but I think there's still better opportunities today than back then. So I say, you know, it's just different. It's just a different way. But to think of musicians as T-shirt salesmen, that's so.
Yeah. Right.
that's it's a funny way to look at it, but it can be kind of, degrading sometimes if you let it be. But
Yeah.
but it's really just, you got to be smart. You got to be on your toes to really do what you want to do. You're gonna have to do a bunch of things you don't want to do. That's how it's always been that way, and it's those things that you're doing might change, but it's never easy to get to do what you want to do, and life's always going to be work. So
nothing good comes easy.
No. No, and I've also gained an appreciation over the years for anyone who's gone far, done anything in this industry. It didn't come easily to anybody. Even if I say, oh, that person's not as good, or that person's not, maybe they don't deserve it or whatever, but it don't, none of it comes easily. So
they stuck with it.
They stuck with it, and they put some amount of work in that others can't say they have. Yep. So I respect it all. It's there's a lot of ways to live your life. So
yeah.
Thanks. So what was Easter like for a Christian singer?
So I had a long week of just rehearsals and just getting everything ready to go. But it was so fun, just being able to worship with my friends and family, and it was just really cool, rewarding, our hard work. But yeah, I have Wednesday off, which I'm excited. I'm going to New Orleans. But yeah, it's just a lot of songs, a lot of singing, which I think is the most strenuous, just because, every Sunday we sing three songs, and I practice throughout the week and I sing in my car, but that's really the most I do. And just singing all those songs, multiple times, it just kind of wore me out. But I'm like, Taylor Swift can do a 3.5 hour show. I can do this. But yeah, I just need to practice more and do more shows.
Yeah. Starting to sing in my own band has definitely shown me that being a vocalist is way more like being an athlete.
Yeah.
And like having to always be taking care of your voice, and to be in practice and in, staying warmed up.
Breathing.
It's definitely a change for me. I've been playing guitar solely for so long. And so it's a way different thing to do live too. Thinking about the words, not like, oh, I'm thinking about the guitar. No, it's all gotta be second nature, and just.
That's why I just prefer to sing. It's just because, like, when I would sing and play guitar, like, it would be like 50-50 in, but like singing, I'm like 100% in. And, so yeah, lately I've just been, I had one little acoustic thing at the showbox recently, and I had my guitar player play. So I was like, I just want to be in the song. And that was really fun. So, starting to do that, singing, it's like my first instrument. So I'm going to keep rolling with that.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
You excited for Lauren Daigle at Festival International?
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm excited they're having her. So my friend from Maryland so her name's Alyssa. She was my roommate in Nashville, and she moved to Nashville to see what it would be like just to, dive into the ocean. And she worked remotely, so she could kind of move wherever she wanted. But she ended moving back to Maryland, probably like the same reason I did, not only like job, but like, missing home and missing family. So she moved back to Maryland. So she's flying in for festival, get a taste of the South.
Dang, I'm actually playing festival.
Really?
At actually the same time Lauren Daigle is.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's I'm playing Artmosphere 7 to 10. So
she starts at 7 or 6:30.
Yeah, it shouldn't overlap the entire time.
Okay.
But yeah, Artmosphere 7 to 10 p.m. Gonna be bringing in a UL student singer. Okay, come sing with us. Well, and, she's pretty badass.
That's awesome.
We're pretty excited about that one.
How cool. Yeah, I'm excited for festival, and it's like my first festival that I can actually enjoy, because last year I came back and worked at the hat store to help Colby out, and that was really fun, but I didn't get the full festival experience. So this year I'm excited to not only get that, but to kind of have Alyssa kind of experience what Louisiana's like, and I'm gonna bring her to get some crawfish, bring her to Central. Those are like my two main places.
And who's this friend again?
Alyssa. She was my roommate in Nashville.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be fun. So yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. Yeah, I got to give her a little tour, man.
Yes. Be a little tour guide.
Lafayette's a gym.
Yes.
But definitely during Festival International. I mean, that's like...
Yeah, I'm so glad it worked out because she was trying to figure out a time when to come. And she's like, how about end of April? Because originally we were just going to go to New Orleans and kind of hang out the weekend. It's like, April's perfect. You can come for festival. So I'm excited.
Festival International is honestly so crazy, and we're so lucky to have it in Lafayette. It's a free festival. Downtown Lafayette.
I hope it stays free forever.
Yeah, I hope so. We got to buy some merch, I guess.
Buy some merch.
Buy some Festival International merch.
Some crawfish bowls.
Yeah. Because it's a special thing. I didn't realize that until going to other music festivals outside of Louisiana.
Yeah.
Or just once I was 18. But to have that free festival downtown Lafayette, it's like the whole city gets taken over.
Yeah.
And it's like 400,000 people over a weekend. Something like that. I've read that stat.
Mardi Gras. Almost.
Don't quote me on that, but it's something crazy like that, and it's a wild thing to see. I think it's one of the biggest multicultural festivals that you can go to. It's a big
really
one.
Cool. I love like all the booths of like people from different countries.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I remember one night I was just like dancing with some friends to I forget what kind of drum band this was, but like from some African drum band, and they were just killing it. And you go across and there's like an Armenian death metal band, and it's just this European techno thing. It's like, okay. But we grew up like that.
Yeah.
I mean, did you go when you were younger?
I think the earliest one I remember was being like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
My mom, unfortunately, she's not into like crowds and festivals, which is fine. You know, everyone has their own little thing that they like. But my stepdad, he plays at all that. He plays with Jared Lane. So she's been going to stuff like that. So we've been getting her into it. And, you know, she's always supported me and my sister. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've got some good memories there.
Yeah.
But well, very cool, very cool. Yeah. You've anything else coming up that you want to tell the people about?
You know, just working, writing, enjoying the time. And so in September is kind of when I'll have something new around my birthday. I don't know if I'll call it like my birthday show. I don't know. My birthday party.
You're invited.
Everyone's invited. I don't know. Still working out the details, but yeah. Just
Very
go stream Sweeter Than Honey.
Sweet.
Because it's sweeter than honey.
Very good. Very good. I think that's a good place to wrap it up. But thank you so much for coming, man. Yes. I hope anyone from UL, I hope to be a resource for. So glad to see you doing it, man.
Yes,
thank you for coming.
You too, Pablo.
Awesome. Bye, everybody.
Peace. Yeah.